Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, everyone. My friends, thank you for your practice. Thank you for being here. And additionally, just to get it out of the way, thank you for liking and subscribing. It helps the algorithm. It helps, it's just me here. I don't have a team of videographers and web people and all of that. Not that everyone does, but just to be clear, it's just me doing everything I can to supply this resource of videos and threefoldlotus.com, the static website, which, if you noticed, yesterday I posted a little brief video on Instagram, and I didn't make a special video for Instagram because of the format, but it's a short video I put up on this channel I have had over the years. I've had our Sanghas worldwide. And I've had some people from South America and Eastern Europe communicate with me their difficulties in trying to use or purchase things from the .coms that I use, like my publisher, lulu.com, or cafepress.com for the mandala, for instance, that there's issues. You wouldn't think of this. We get so first world problems, right? We think, I put it on the website, anyone can get it. But there are custom fees, and internet commerce isn't ubiquitous, certainly not in the way it's conducted from country to country, to continent to continent. The cost, of course, changes, but then there's other fees put on those costs, simply for whatever the commerce rules are country to country. And something that I think I make very easily available and affordable turns into this huge production and difficulty in some other countries trying to purchase those things. And that's the last thing I want, right? The whole mission here is to be to support propagation, to support the ease of your practice. There's enough effort we make in our practice to have something to give us confidence and security. That's what I'm trying to provide, right? So I've tried different solutions before, but the technology didn't seem to be there. And I have quite a few books, and it may not be visible to everyone because there's a lot of books that I've put together for my own study through Lulu, through my publisher, that aren't in the store. But there's still several pages of books available on lulu.com/spotlight/Kwun, right? Our bookstore. And to add, whether it's an ebook publication or a PDF for distribution on Lulu, it just starts to clutter up the mess, and the image, you don't know when you click on a link, why is there a different price? And it's not obvious that you're now in the electronic book or electronic format, digital download, as opposed to an actual print book. If you're like me, I'm still, call it whatever, old-fashioned or whatever. I like to have a solid book because I like to mark things up, and right. And as I've gotten older, I like larger print. So like, why do I have so many large books on the Go Show, for instance? Well, because I've used 12-point Bookman, large style, like school print, so that my feeble eyes can have an easy. I hate these books that are printed out on this thin little rice paper with the little ant writing that I can't read that. And especially study material, I want to be able to go back and forth to it and underline things. So I've endeavored to make those books in print so you can get them. But if you're in another country, the costs may be super prohibitive, not for the book itself, but simply for shipping it. Yeah? So I thought, well, I need to reinvestigate this thing, but I found a different way to do it. And with some help from you guys, some new members who've like re-inspired me, I've gone into the threefoldlotus.com website, which is free. You can go there. It's just HTTP. There's no fancy scripting in there. And I know now the browsers are all, it doesn't have an S. It's not HTTPS, so it's not secure. Whatever. It's HTTP. It's the same standard. It's been around since. Anyway, there's no JavaScript or weirdness there, so don't worry about that. Just go to the website. On the front page, and I'll put up a couple of images here so you can see. On the landing page on the website, threefoldlotus.com, you'll see a link there to this book that you can download the e-book of it. You'll also see a new little label, ebooks, little green button, that also shows up on the core study page, right, in the menu on the right. And so you'll see two links there, books, which has been there all along, that takes you to the bookstore. But right underneath it is an e-books link. And that opens up a page, and I'm starting to amass slowly digital download copies of, and this is the great part of it, is that not only can you get like this book, but you can also get the mandala now digitally. Because people have had problems with, I don't have every size and availability on the Cafe Press for the, and some of you want to print this to fit your Butsudan that you already have. Or you want to print it on, like you want to put it on a fancy rice paper and print it yourself. Okay. I don't want to be in your way to get that. That's, that I'm very strong supportive of that being the universal mandala Nichiren created for you and I to practice. I don't want to get in the way of that. I don't put any carrots or you have to qualify. No, Buddhahood is already yours. You need to awaken it. Here's the tool. I don't want to get in the way of that. Now, I'm still going through Lulu, but these things aren't going to be posted on the bookstore. So don't go looking for the ebooks or the files on the bookstore. But I'm using the Lulu engine to do I don't have an accountant. I don't have a collections bureau. Right? So it's just me. So by providing a link to published on Lulu, like for the $4 or whatever that I'm going to get from it to support the channel, and they get their little cut, that's it. There's no shipping. It's immediate. So you can get a mandala right now for, I don't know, it's very inexpensive. And or the Gosho books I put on there just last night or yesterday. So that even though the books are, some of them hundreds of pages, and some of you like to read ebooks online or on your readers, or and I believe they'll be downloaded. I don't know if they're EPUBs or PDFs. I think they're PDFs. Not sure. I'll have to double check. Anyway, the only reason I wonder about that is because I know if it's a PDF, you should be able to print it out. Although I don't know if you want to go through the ink and paper expense of printing out an entire Gosho, right? A book of Goshos, I mean. But at least you'll have it. You'll be able to get it. Like if you're in Australia or South Africa or wherever you are, that you're, instead of having to pay $100 in shipping to get a book from a printer in America, United States, you can have it digitally and you can start to study. I think that's phenomenal. That's great technology. So I'm starting to put those books, Gohonzon map, something people ask about all the time. Who are the personages on this mandala? What are they all? What's the story of these? Why these characters on this mandala? Well, I created a book with a Shute Gohonzon that has all numbered, and then you can go by page and look up certain, like Tahoe Buddha. Where'd that come from? Why is Hachiman in here? Little stories and a lot of information on this mandala. And that book now available electronically, digitally. So, books like that I think are kind of fundamental to our practice. All of it's fundamental, but I mean, to get started, right? I'm adding them slowly to that page. So anyway, please make use of that, especially if you're in another country and you've tried and you've looked into the bookstore and you may be dissuaded by the cost or the whatever. I'm hoping this will get obstacles out of the way for you so that you have more ready access. Again, that's on threefoldlotus.com. That's on the core study page link. You'll see a list, and again, I've put that page up on this video so you can see what it looks like anyway. Okay, that's the big announcement, and I hope that you guys make use of that. And if you have any other suggestions in that regard, I'm always open. I may not be able to react immediately. As I say, it's just me. But anything I can do to make your practice more confident, more secure, more interesting, just encourage your confidence and resolve in your practice, then I'm all about it, right? All right, enough of that. That's the announcement for today. Now let's get back into this letter Nichiren wrote to this woman regarding the Daimoku. What's the name of this one? Forget the name of this one. The real aspect of Gohonzon. So again, it's a letter about, it's included in this book because it's about the Daimoku, but it's focused more on the entirety of the mandala, yes, and the Gohonzon as an internal mental, what should we call it, a portal, right? Our window, our door to Buddhahood. So Nichiren continues, a woman who makes offerings to such a Gohonzon, to this enlightenment, invites happiness in her life and moment to moment in the next, in the continuing life, right? The Gohonzon will be with her and protect her always. Not this mandala, the Gohonzon. And I'm pointing this out because this gets lost in the translation oftentimes, and a lot of people get confused about that. In fact, there are those out there, bad teachers out there, who will constantly reinforce this idea that scroll is the Gohonzon, and it is not. Nichiren is super clear about this, right? So let's go on, and you'll see how clear he is. Like a lantern in the dark, like a strong guide and porter on a treacherous mountain path, the Gohonzon will guard and protect you, Nichinyo, the woman he's written this to, wherever you go. Therefore you should take every care to ward off slanderers of the law in the same way that you would never wish a courtesan even to come near your home, challenging your relationship with your husband, right? This is the meaning of the thrust aside evil friends and associate with good companions. Never seek, point going to be made here indelibly, never seek this Gohonzon outside yourself. It's a short sentence, but it's an incredibly essential understanding of what Gohonzon is. It doesn't exist outside yourself. Because yourself is what? It's a construct of your mind. It's not this body. But even so, as we understand, the self is a construct of the mind, and this Gohonzon is nowhere else to be found than in that mind itself. It absolutely is not this mandala. This mandala is an excellent tool that Nichiren created to bring our samsaric distracted mind into focus in order to penetrate that Gohonzon mind, Buddha-ness. The Gohonzon exists only within the mortal flesh of us ordinary people who embrace the Lotus Sutra and chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. The body is the palace of the ninth consciousness, right? We talked about, and you can do a search on the homepage, 9 consciousnesses, or Wuji to you and me, and look at those videos. I talk and I draw and I have pictorial representations of the ninth consciousness, right? Shakyamuni. Nichiren doesn't talk about the ninth consciousness a whole lot, but he's dropping it on you here, right here. Buddhahood, Buddha-ness. And he's talking about it in the same breath of Gohonzon, of Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, invoking with this flesh and blood body the mental awareness of Buddhahood. What is that awakening mental awareness of Buddhahood? It's Gohonzon. It is the path to that enlightenment. It's all happening in the mind. The unchanging reality that reigns over all of life's functions, right? It is the very process of potential energies, informations becoming. This is what we witness when we awaken our Buddha-ness, rather than the trap of hanging on to everything, which is really retarding our time. We're throwing anchors in the ground instead of living life forward, momentum, moment to moment. Let me read all of that again so that it actually flows without all my interruptions. Never seek this Gohonzon outside yourself. This Gohonzon exists only within the mortal flesh of us ordinary people who embrace the Lotus Sutra and chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. The body is the palace of the ninth consciousness, where the mind emerges. The unchanging reality that reigns over all of life's functions. To be endowed with the 10 realms, 10 worlds, means that all 10, without a single exception, exists in one world, in one realm. Because of this, it is called a mandala. Mandala is a Sanskrit word that is translated as perfectly endowed, or a cluster of rewards. Now it gets slippery. This translation isn't doing a good job of identifying, but you heard him say, the Gohonzon is the ninth consciousness, the mind. A consciousness which only manifests through this apparatus of samsara. But the experience that that consciousness provides is Buddhahood. So we got a lot of identifying labels. That's what we do, right? But don't confuse the mandala as the Gohonzon. The mandala is a tool that's imbued because it contains the concepts of the Lotus Sutra, the very act the chanting act, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Lotus Sutra, of awakening, opening that Gohonzon door in the mind. This Gohonzon also is found only in the two characters of a strong mind and determination and conviction. This is what the sutra means when it states that one can gain entrance through a strong mind of determination and conviction alone. Because where does determination and conviction occur? In your hands? In your body? No, in your mind. Buddhism is about the mind, yeah? Attitude, intent. What we're talking about here is intent. Since Nichiren's disciples and lay supporters believe solely in the Myoho Renge Kyo, the Lotus Sutra, honestly discarding expedient means, and not accepting even a single verse of the other sutras, exactly as the Lotus teaches, they can enter the treasure tower of the Gohonzon. The treasure tower, you and I, the experience of Buddha-ness, that's the treasure tower. That is the Gohonzon, the ninth consciousness, awareness, perception of Buddha-ness. Make sense? How reassuring. Make every possible effort for the sake of your continuing life. What is most important is that by chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo alone, you can attain Buddhahood. By chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo alone, you can attain Buddhahood. Of course, immediately when you chant it. It will no doubt depend on the strength of your mind of determination and conviction. There it is again. Right? What does that mean? If you're just mumbling along going, okay, I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you don't care about your own enlightenment, why should it even occur? Of course, your enlightenment is yours to invoke, yours to experience, yours to have. No one can do it for you. Magic words won't do it for you. But the proper invocation, homage, and dedication, determination, conviction that you are now going to experience Buddhahood, well, what could deny you other than your Samsaric self? This is always the point with Nichiren. Do you want to do this? Or are you playing? Are you just wanting to be part of a group? Oh, I'll chant with you. Oh, look what she's wearing. Or are you focused? I now am here, Namu, instantiating, walking through my mind to experience totality. That's what I'm here for. This is what I'm doing. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Is that you? Because if it's not, then what are you doing? What? To have a strong mind, determination, and conviction is the basis of Buddhism. Thus, the fourth volume of the Great Concentration and Insight states, quote, Buddhism is like an ocean that one can only enter with a strong mind, determination, and conviction. The fourth volume of the Annotations on the Great Concentration and Insight explains this, quote, with regard to the phrase, Buddhism is like an ocean that one can only enter with a strong mind, determination, and conviction, Even Confucius taught that a strong mind, determination, and conviction is the first and foremost. And you know, Confucianism is about human behavior in its most meaningful. It's not an analysis of all human behavior. It's an analysis of human behavior that is most life-affirming, beneficial in society as an individual. How much more so is this true of the profound doctrines of Buddhism, of self-enlightenment? Without a strong mind, determination, and conviction, how could one possibly enter into this enlightenment, right? That is why the Flower Garland Sutra defines a strong mind, determination, and conviction as the basis of the way and the mother of rewards. Why mother? Obviously, because a mother, a woman with a womb, and that identifies mother, a womb, a place for instantiation of life. What spawns results, what spawns great rewards, meritorious, the continuation of life itself, is our conviction. It's like that with anything, not just Buddhism, but in Buddhism, it's very strictly about that, right? But even if you find things easy for you to do, if you don't apply yourself, right, then your results won't satisfy you. They might satisfy others who have lower expectations, but they won't satisfy you. So you would lose interest, wouldn't you? Don't let that happen with your enlightenment, right? The first volume of the Great Concentration and Insight says, quote, "How does one hear or believe in and practice the perfect teaching to attain perfect enlightenment?" End quote. The first volume of on Great Concentration and Insight says, quote, "To believe, invest, have resolve in the perfect teaching means to awaken a strong mind of determination and conviction." Isn't that what we're doing? Isn't that why we have a Sangha? To catch us when we get distracted? Hey, chant, put your mind into it, right? Not your back, put your mind into it. And conviction through doctrine, and to make a strong mind, determination, and conviction the basis of practice. Nichiren, and I've said this before, constantly hammers on this. It's that important. Attitude, intent. Where are we time-wise? Okay, we're almost done with this letter, so I'm going to move on. A non-Buddhist document relates that because the Emperor of Han believed his aide's report, the waters of a river froze on the spot. Another tells how Li Kuang, because he was eager to revenge his father, shot an arrow all the way up to its feathers into a boulder hidden in the grass. These are quotes from old folklore, yeah? The idea that if your will is strong enough, your conviction is strong enough, you can accomplish things that are not understandable by the regular everyday mind. Like this shooting an arrow into a stone. It's not because he said, "Oh, I'm going to shoot that rock." No, if you know the story at all, it's because imagine If you've heard stories of the woman who picks a car up off her baby because she it's superhuman strength. We are capable of amazing things. And this story is about shooting a tiger in the grass and feeling like, for all of its motivations, the conviction of, if I don't kill this tiger, it's not about killing the tiger, it's about me not being eaten by it. I have to, this one shot has to do the job. And it turns out it wasn't a tiger, it was a big boulder. But his conviction was so strong, the arrow went right into the boulder all the way up to its fletching, the feathers. The point being made, the stronger your intent, the more you realize your goal, even if on the surface it doesn't look that way. Your enlightenment is yours to have, my friend. And this is why I say, when you greet your Gohonzon by using this Butsudan and this mandala, arouse that determination. I am instantiating my Buddha-ness now. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. That kind of conviction. Oh yes. Nothing will get in the way of that. The commentaries of Tendai and Miao Lo make it perfectly clear that a strong mind is the cornerstone. Because the Han Emperor believed completely in his retainer's words, the river froze over, and Li Kuang was able to pierce a rock with his arrow because he fully believed it to be the tiger that had killed his father. How much more so is this true in Buddhism? Arouse that conviction. Know it. Really know it. Embracing the Lotus Sutra and chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo in itself encompasses the 5 practices. That it was this matter, the wonderful practice, that includes the immediate completion of the 5 practices that was transmitted to the great teacher Dengyo when he journeyed to Tang in China and met the Reverend Dao Tsue. No other teaching is more important for Nichiren's disciples and lay supporters. It is referred to in the Supernatural Powers chapter of the Lotus Sutra, chapter 14. I believe it's 14. I'm sorry, don't quote me on that. I will write again in detail, respectfully, Nichiren. This was in 1277 that he wrote this. So you can look it up on the timeline, right? That's another important Gosho, another important reminder of our attitude and what we're accomplishing when we sit at the Butsudan, stare at that mandala to break us free of all of these distractions, these worldly distractions, and enter the realm of Buddhahood. Next up, from How Those Aspiring to the Way Can Attain Buddhahood through the Lotus Sutra. That will be the subject, the start of it anyway, of the next video. I hope you find these sessions, these discussions, talks, helpful, inspiring. Don't forget to use the full resource. Right? There's 1,000 videos on this channel. And so, scrolling through them is going to be, So please use the playlists is a good place to start. Right where you see those links, where the playlist link is, off to the right, you'll see a little magnifying glass. You can click that and enter a keyword like, I don't know, karma or conviction or Wuji or 9 consciousnesses. And when you hit enter or click that that search icon. You'll get a results set of videos that'll narrow your search, and you can scroll through those, a handful, the ones more relevant at the top, I believe. And that's a study aid. That's to help you. Oh, I didn't know he did a video on this. Let me watch that. Let me listen to that, right? Same thing on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, the Buddhahood podcast. Do the same thing there. There's hundreds and hundreds. There's almost 1,000 podcasts up there. There's over 800 now, I believe. So use that. You go to the threefoldlotus.com page and go to the core study materials page. There's dozens and dozens of buttons with labels on them on, like, typical question. What is Namo Myoho Renge Kyo? How does chanting work? What are the 5 factors? What are the 3 factors? What are the 10 worlds? There are PDF documents available that are basic. They're my research. And some of them are documents that I wrote to explain my research. But it's a place to start to solidify your understanding of what it is you're doing when you sit respectfully in front of your mandala and you chant. But nothing replaces your conviction in instantiating your Buddhahood when you chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Right? So thank you again for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's our bodhisattva effort to make this algorithm of YouTube bring us up in search results. More people can find us, and we're expanding our Sangha that way, and that's propagation. So thank you for that. Patrons, I was talking about how these ebooks, the digital books, they're very affordable, but they help with a little bit of financial support for my efforts here to keep this thing going. All of these various resources. Super, super thankful for that. And patrons, you guys are doing it above and beyond, right? Not just book purchases, but with money infusions monthly. It's so critical to my being able to keep this going. That's the world we live in. Everything costs. But not everyone can afford that. Maybe you can afford that. So like and subscribe. That's one way of supporting this channel. Now you can get a mandala very easily, right? For just a few dollars, you can download a file and you can print it out any size you want to suit your altar, right? I'm really excited about that. I hope it works out. Let me know how you guys feel about it, and let me know if you're using it, if you've tried it, and how it's worked out for you, right? Thank you again. I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, please take care of your health, be kind, and I'll see you again soon. All right, bye for now. Myo